On these pages, we're looking at just identifying the differences between the equations and the graphs of circles, semicircles, ellipses, hyperbolas, some of the conics that we're going to be looking at this unit. So first, let's look at the equations, then we'll look at the graphs. So you are going to be given the equations in general form when you have to identify. They are all the same, but A and B are different in each section, and so you only have to look at A and B to be able to identify them. If it's a circle, A and B are going to be the same number. If it's an ellipse, A and B are different numbers. Easy. Parabola, either A or B is 0, which means it disappears. So if you're missing an x squared or a y squared, that means you have a parabola. The hyperbola is where one of them is negative. So you'll have something x squared minus something y squared. These numbers could be the same, they could be different, but if one of them is positive and one of them is negative, it's hyperbola. We gave you the equation for semicircle and line just so you're aware. We are going to look at these maybe graphically, but we won't look at these in their equation forms. So let's take a look at the graphs. So for this section, you'll have to know, going back to this page, knowing what these different conics are when they're out of the cone. So our answer choices are circle, semicircle, ellipse, or hyperbola. I know when there's two parabolas, it's hyperbola. This isn't a circle. I'm also not going to say oval, so it's an ellipse. This one is either, I would guess, parabola or semicircle. A parabola would have arrows that keeps going and it gets a little skinnier. So also parabola is not the answer choice. So obviously this one's a semicircle. And then lastly, the circle. Okay, now pause this video so you can try the last four and then check your answers. Pause. Did you pause it? Okay. So now let's check the answers. You should have said ellipse for this one. Circle here. Hyperbola. And another semicircle. Did you get them right? Good job. Now let's look at the equations. So you're going to be referring to this in order to answer this. So let's take a look. Number one, you have to locate A and B. That's the x squared and the y squared. So I'm looking here and here. They're both exactly the same. That is circle. Over here, oh, I did give you one of these. That's a good time. So we'll play along. So this one is in the form y equals. The only one that's y equals is sister's semicircle. Okay, here's another one just in the general form. I'm looking at A and B. They're both exactly the same. That's another circle. Okie dokie. Number 4, let's look at A and B. Ooh, they're different, but they're still positive. So that would be ellipse. If it was negative, it'd be a hyperbola. For example, this one. Here's A and B. They're different, but one of them's negative. So that's a hyperbola. Lastly, this guy right here, it's in the form y equals, so we have a semicircle. I want you to do these last 3 for homework. Bye!